Religion and education, should these two coexist together? Well, this pertinent question has risen after a recent incident in Cape Town. A school principal has been instructed by the Western Cape Education Department to allow Muslim pupil to wear her hijab. This after he initially wrote a letter to mother saying despite his research into Islam, he could not find anything stipulating that hijab must be worn. Well, the school says it did not wish to comment. The pupil's mother also declined to comment on the matter, saying it had since been resolved. Well, let's take a look at what the law says regarding the incident. Well, Section 15, Part 1 of the Constitution guarantees the freedom of religion or freedom from religion as the case may be. Section 15, Part 2 provides that religious observances may be conducted at state or state-aided institutions, provided that these observations allow rules made by the appropriate public authorities, are conducted on an equitable basis, and attendance at them is free and voluntary. Section 7 of the Schools Act says that religious observances may be conducted at public schools under rules issued by SGBs, provided such observances meet the requirements of equity and voluntariness. Well, joining us in studio to unpack further details on the matters, educator, author and speaker Thulaganyo Modisane. Thulaganyo, thank you so much for joining us this morning right here on AN7. Welcome to our studios. Well, the entire matter is on everyone's lips with regards to the dress code at schools, the appearance of schools or learners at schools. You know, with the recent incident in the Western Cape where an educator was in a predicament of not allowing the school child to wear hijab at school. Just talk us through reaction with regards to that specific incident, firstly.
Well, Good morning to all the viewers, and thank you so much for having me. I think one of the first things we need to highlight on is specifically based on the fact that we're living in a democratic society. And because we are living in such a democratic society, we need to consider that there are various religions and various culture. And with that said, we need to embrace them. I think what we need to underline also is that these kind of things start from an early age. In other words, we need to educate our learners, not to stigmatize nor to stereotype when it comes to various religions and so forth, and more so not to belittle different types of religions. I think also importantly, if in the case where you have a school that is keen in practicing a particular religion or observation, this is something that is opposed also on the government gazette, that it needs to be undertaken by the school governing body, whereby they, on the other hand, have to decide whether are they willing to practice such religious practices in their school. And if so, they need to fully adhere to the specific religion that they want to practice. And by saying fully, I mean in terms of embracing it fully without undermining other religions and cultures.
Now, the next question facing everybody, you know, on this particular matter is religion and education. Can they actually coexist together?
Yes, certainly. I think what we need to look at most importantly is, first of all, hence I've said, to not belittle another religion for another. You know, when we're living in a democratic society, sometimes it comes to a point where it is somewhat a sensitive issue because, I mean, if you have a specific learner and, say for argument's sake, their religion is of Muslim and they are dominated by Christians for argument's sake, in some way or another, we cannot exclude this specific individual learner due to the fact that they're Muslim. We need to, as a school, hence I said also that the school governing body needs to find some sort of systems on how to incorporate various religions without criticizing different types of religions.
Now, it's not only the hijab matter, but, you know, some pupils prefer going to school with dreadlocks, you know, longer skirts or whatever the case may be. Now, should schools consider religious and cultural diversity when they're drafting their rules and their codes of conduct for schools?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, you know, this is where we say, indeed, we have a unified cohesion amongst different cultures and amongst learners. You know, I mean, you take into thought, for example, a multiracial school, a multicultural school. It accommodates learners from different cultural background, different cultural, different religions, pardon me. And with that said, hence I'm also emphasizing that it's highly important that these things needs to start at an very, very early age. I mean, I could make a practical example of myself. I mean, as an educator, one of the principles that I try my level best to do is instill to my young learners that there is different types of religions. You're going to come across different types of religions. And the moment you do, you need to embrace them. It's in other words, you need to accept them. You know, you need to accept them based on the fact that this is a democratic country. And with that said, we need to understand that we are bound to come across different kind of different backgrounds, from cultures, race, and so forth. And as a whole, we really need to learn to embrace them. It's not an easy process, but I think it's something that's really doable if you know, we're willing to work as a team. And I mean, both from government side and as a school also. You know, the school needs to support such kind of things.
Would you support the startup of campaigns by the government together with the schools to actually educate the learners amongst themselves on the cultural diversity?
Yes, absolutely. Really, it goes back from what is it that you're implanting in a child's mind. I mean, if I'm going to implant a negative attitude that this religion is not appropriate, automatically a learner grows up with the stigma that this is a religion not worthy of being known. So again, I'm emphasizing it has to start at an early age, whether you like it or not. You know, I think that is the best way that a person can grasp someone's attention, by starting to educate someone at a very early age, and then eventually they start really acknowledging the differences amongst religions.
And you know, in some instances you see that with some institutions, or rather some schools, they practice certain religions. When it's time for assembly, prayer sessions sometimes take place, which falls in the bracket for Christianity. And, you know, it's as if that those teachers do not take into consideration the other religions, you know, amongst the learners. Could we see the banning of these practices taking place in schools, or should we actually be promoting these?
You know what, really, we should be going about it the positive way, and the positive way is promoting it. Whether we like it or not, we have a beautiful country filled with beautiful individuals from different cultural backgrounds and so forth. And I think the best way of going about it is really going about it the positive way, and that positive way entails promoting all these different religions that we come across in South Africa, promoting different cultures, promoting different languages. And I think once we're able to do so, we really do conform to what we call Ubuntu. Yes. Yeah.
Now, without actually sacrificing, you know, school appearance, codes of conduct and all of that, should there be a regulatory body instituted to actually look at those drafted rules made by the government and the schools with regards to deciding what learners should look like at schools?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, look, in life, for anything to go smoothly, there has to be a set of rules. Hence why we have laws, hence why we have policies. And these policies, these laws are there to guide us. If we don't have them, unfortunately, then we are deviating on the wrong direction. So definitely there has to be a sort of rules that needs to be accompanied, that needs to be followed, most importantly. Not just about school rules, but also how do you deal with learners with different religion backgrounds. It's important that there has to be a set of rules to follow, because, you know, if there's no rules, there's just no cohesion and there's just no organization. So that starts with the management. So the management really plays a very vital role in terms of this. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this morning right here in our studios. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us in studio. Well, that was educator, author and speaker Thulaganyo Modisane, packing more details on the pertinent question of whether should religion and education coexist together.